It is my pleasure then to present our speaker for tonight, Kirthikka Devi Venkataram. Kirthikka is a technology professional with 10 years of concentrated experience in creating customer-centric, safety-critical products, working in industries like telecommunication, automotive, AI startup, and research laboratories. During her career, she has delivered value to customers and generated organizational revenue growth of over 35% year over year by meticulously developing and launching products. With a strong engineering background, she secured university rank 5 in Master of Engineering and led a cohort in her executive education program in product management. She strives to uplift women in technology careers, herself encountering multiple career breaks. Kirthikka is a mentor at Products by Women and a community lead with the Women Who Code Data Science track. Everyone, please welcome Kirthikka.
Hi. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Lacey. Let me quickly share the screen. So today we will have a quick round of introduction about Git. So to have a background about Git, Git was developed and launched in 2005 when there was a controversial happening between the Linux kernel project, which was using a proprietary distributed version control system called Bitkeeper, where they turned their product into a paid version that made Linux kernel developers to look for other alternatives. Though there were a lot of version control systems that were existing earlier during that period, like the SV and the CBS, the Linux kernel developers thought they need a version control system that is distributed, which means like you do not rely on one particular server at a time, and you also need a cloud hosting capability at a later stage, which was developed later. In that period, they wanted parallel development to happen. They wanted a non-linear development, which should move forward, irrespective of the number of developers who are involved in the project. That made them to create Git, having a lot of learnings into them, like from the earlier Bitkeeper and other version control system, which was available, like the SoundForge and things like that. What they did was they thought of an idea to speed up the processing of the repository where they would work. When we think of SVN or CBS, we had to patch the changes with the repository content. So this wasn't the case with Git. What happens with Git is like, there will be a stream of snapshots, which means like the complete snapshot of the repository will be taken into consideration when you create an object or when you access the repository. This makes to have a local copy of the complete repository as an object, which means Git could be thought of as data more like a series of snapshot of miniature file system. We are not going to patch each of the files. Instead, we will have a snapshot of the miniature file system that will look like a stream of snapshots, and the stream of snapshots will be added up and moved forward to the branches where we are trying to locate or where we are trying to push. There are certain terminologies which we need to take care when we move forward with Git operation. Git also has a capability of cloud-based hosting service, which means like the collaborators don't have to rely on the local system only. They can also do cloud-based operation independent of local operation. This also makes to have a copy of their repository, having a backup copy of the repository locally as well as onto the server, which is not a centralized server that we are talking about. The main objective of this particular session is to understand the version control system, the crux of Git, which differs or which makes it incredible from the other software version control system, is its branching. So we are going to understand what is the core concept of this version control and why is it essential. We will have a small exercise of implementing a fetch, merge, and push operation for a file as well as for a folder. We will understand what is the real power of it. Before we dive into the live session, I just want to quickly give you a few introduction about Git. There are a few operations which you need to take care while you perform Git. These operations are well versed in the link that has been provided to you, which will be shared to you on chat. So the terminologies that you have to remember when you think of Git is like the repository names, the different types of repository, namely the remote repository and the local repository which you have in hand. The remote repository is something which is there on the cloud and you will need access to access the remote repository. Apart from that, apart from the repository content, you will also need to understand few other terminologies like upstream repository and the master repository, master branch of the repository. So when I say the upstream repository, it is a repository on which you are moving forward with doing changes. The main branch earlier it was called as master branch. Now it is called as main branch. Is the main initial branch which will be created automatically when you create a repository. Apart from this, there are few other operation-based terminologies like fork, commit, fork, clone. I think you might be probably able to understand the difference between the fork and the clone operation. Fork is like you would be taking a local copy of the repository, you will be doing the modification locally, and then you will be pushing it to your local repository, which means the repository that you are forking into. The main repository will not be affected by this forked repository. All the changes will remain in the forked repository. You will be able to do all the operations like fetch, push, pull, merge. All the operations will be performed on the forked repository, irrespective of changing the main repository content. When you move towards cloning, the owner of the repository, as well as the collaborators who are involved in working with the repository, will have access to the clone repository, and they will be able to create branches like the side branches, work on the side branches, and then merge their changes to the main branches at a later stage after having a check with the collaborators. We will also understand in this session like what will be the operation sequence that we are supposed to follow. So forking is when you want the repository to be on your account and you don't want to change the main repository content, you fork it. You have to clone when you have to contribute to the main repository. There you need to take care like, do you have permission to merge with the main branch, or do you work on the side branch or the branch that you're creating from the main branch? The operation when you work on forking is like, let me quickly show you the slides. Okay, let's take, we have a server and GitHub server, and we have two developers or collaborators who are working parallelly. We will be cloning the repository. The first step is like, we will be cloning the repository content and then take the file which we are supposed to modify. The once changed file is ready, we commit the changes, and then we wait for the stage called committed stage. Git project has three stages. One is the working repository, working directory, the staging area, and the repository where you commit it. Where you push to the end. Working directory is your committed repository, the local working directory where you are working from. The staging area is the next step where you will have an area to stage your file. Till then, till when it is staged, when a file or a folder is staged, Git is not taken into account of the files and folders which are out of the staging area. The second one is the staging area, and the third is like the main repository content from where you take the folder or the file. So the working directory will have the .git repo, which will be available in your local server, which means John and Jessica will have .git repo folder to be created when they clone or when they create a new repository. So here they are creating or they are cloning the repository, which means the .git folder will be created in their local repository, and they will have two stages. They will have two types of stages: staged area and unstaged area. Unstaged area is the local file that they have in their local PC. Staged area is they have it into the Git staged area. This next step after the staged area is the commit. So once you enter into the stage area, you can commit the changes. You can also fetch and then you can also fetch the changes after the commit is performed by developer one. And you can also take the changes from the developer one, merge it with your changes. That is what is happening with Jessica. Like she's cloning, both of them are cloning parallelly. They commit the changes once it is done and they push it to the server. Jessica is pushing it to the server, and the changed file after committing and after pushing. So it is fetch, commit, getting it to the staged area, committing it, and once it is committed, you push it. So these three are the sequence of operation that happens in the with the staged area in the mainframe. So we push the file or the folder into the server. Once it is pushed, we have it on Git, and we also have to understand it is Git has an integrity through its checksum. Whatever the file that you commit cannot be changed, or the contents could not be altered because of this SHA-1 hash supported checksum algorithm which runs on the background, and it automatically creates it. So once that is done, you will not be able to modify it. And but you will be able to fetch the committed file, do a merge, do to your local change and the changes that has been done by Jessica over here, and then finally you can push it. So here there is two rounds of operation which has been performed, like by John and Jessica. They parallelly clone. First, Jessica pushes the changes, and second, it is taken by John, and then it is being pushed again. So pushed again to the server back by John, merging the changes. And the merged changes are again taken by Jessica, which is which she has to do some more changes, and she's merging with her change and pushing it back to the repository. So this is a kind of cyclic approach where the commit, cloning, commit, push, and fetch operation is happening parallelly between the develop squad and the. So, okay. So this is about the version control system. Quickly, let me show you a few commands that are supported. So we will just quickly see 2 to 3 commands, not more than that. So initially, when you install Git, there is a link which will be provided in the chat window for installing Git. You would have already installed Git desktop version, as well as you will be having your account ready. What you're going to do is we'll just try to understand few commands which will be helpful for us when we navigate. So first is the git help command. Git help command straight away navigates you to the manual page, the man page of Git account, Git bash. So when I say Git bash, it is the Git CLI, the command line interface support, which is provided by Git. The second is like Git config show origin. I think everyone is able to see my CLI, right? It's okay. So let me quickly grab. I wanted to see where does this operation is performed. So I have this operation in this particular folder structure, like the Git config has this clean operation to be done. These are certain plumbing and porcelain kind of operations which will be performing in the backend to understand what is happening in the Git logs. So And apart from this, you have lot many other commands where you can create a file. Let me quickly show you how to create a file. So this is the folder that is empty. It doesn't have any file structure to be present. Now I'm going to create a new file. And then I'll push it to new file is a content, and then I'll just push it to a file. So a file is getting created. Now I have to do hashing. So hash object. Now I have created a hash object. I'll also quickly share the folder content for you so that you will be able to see what is happening over there. Before we run out of time, I'll just quickly wanted you all to grab your account and keep it ready so that we move forward. Okay, let me not show you the file. Instead, I'll just show you quickly like what is happening with the checksum. Right now, we have created a checksum and we will have the checksum to be visible over here. Not a Git repository. Oh. Already there. Next. Okay. So let me just show you quickly the content that I have already created so that it's easier for us to navigate. So if you could see this particular folder, it has, this is the .git file which is getting initiated when there is a repo which is created. So you will have the objects, and these are the snapshots of the objects that is there present when you clone your repository. So all this will be created as a 40-bit checksum. 40-bit SHE1 supported checksum. Once this is created, we will have our files to be ready to stage and then commit and then push it to the repository. So now quickly, let me grab you the repository content and then I'll show you what is a task for today that we are going to do. So are you able to see my desktop? Can you give me a thumbs up? Okay, good. So this is the repository that we have, and I have created an organization account over here. In this, I have a license file, README file, a hello world file, a sample file which I have loaded already. So in this workshop, what we are going to do is we'll split up the split up into 4 squads, 4 teams basically, and you will be performing the following task. The first task would be like to create an issue. So to quickly have a run through, to quickly have a look around of what is there in this particular organization is like, there is a project which is running over here. This is a sample project that has been created. We have to create an issue, and I have created an issue for you as a template. The issue needs to be created, each issue from every one of you who have been added to the organization as a member will be creating an issue, and they'll have to select any one of the 4 Scrum-based place where the task currently stands in. So it is up to you to create a to-do or in progress issue. It's free. I allow to your interest to create number of issues, as many number of issues that you can, and then you can log into the organization project. So once that is done, the second task would be to link that issue to the branch repository. You already have a branch. So if you could quickly navigate, so I have shown you how to do this as well. You will create a new issue, and then you will assign it to a team member of your squad, link it to the project, and link it to the branch, the test branch for squads, which is available already here. Here you can see the issues tab, projects tab, and you will also have the repository Git Workshop. In the repository, you will have an opportunity to look into the branches which has been already created. So you will have here, you can see 2 branches which are already available in this, the main branch and the test branch for the squads. So you will have to navigate to the branch and then map the issue to the branch. So this will be your first task. And I quickly request all the squad admins to add the team members to each of the squad in background before I complete this discussion. So I'll take around 5 minutes to complete this discussion, and meanwhile you can add the team members to the squads. So we have 4 teams here, and the 4 teams are going to perform the task like this. So once you are into this particular repository, the first squad or the first team will, for the task 2, they will clone, or all the squads will clone the repository, and then the first squad will create a new code file. They do a commit and then send it for they just do a commit, and then they will try to check the status if the staging, if it has got out of the staging area and it has got committed. So you will be having the snapshot of the results, which is available already. I have placed all the snapshots for you. Once it is done, you can push it, and the squad 2 will create a pull request from the main branch to the test branch for squads, and then you will fetch the file which has been uploaded by squad 1, and then you are going to modify it and perform some operation like do some commenting or do whatever you want, and then check in again, commit it again, and push it back to the test branch. Once that is done, you see the files changed and modification changed in the diff window. You must be able to see like this when you go to this window. And once you are able to see the changes which are good enough, you can assign it to the third member in the squad 3. The squad 3 member will review or edit the comments and then approve to close the issue, as well as he'll completely push the changes to the main branch. So these 2 are the first initial tasks that I wanted you all to perform. Quickly, the admins take in charge, and we will run into our breakout groups.
How are we doing? We are 9 minutes past the schedule. Yeah, okay. So what is all the completion level of the members? Like, how do you feel this workshop to be? How many tasks were you able to complete, and how is it moving forward?
So from team 4, we were able to complete 2 tasks, and we just had few minutes left. So we thought we could take it home, and then the further task could be completed and shared on Slack.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you will have access to the organization for 1 more week. I request you all to contribute and perform the task independently in team, and then you can do it. You can just collaborate with one more GitHub account, or you can also get back to me so that I'll help you out to perform the task. If anything, whichever prefers your or whichever suits your needs, that will be pretty much good for me to take your outputs and show that and project it in our Slack channel. So I request you all to move forward and complete the task. And you can also perform any kind of, or you can use that as a playground to collaborate and perform any project related operations as a developer as well as an admin, not as an admin at least, as a developer, and then collaborate among yourself. Just move forward and do something so that you will learn a lot. You have a lot of commands. You will have to use the app, GitHub desktop app, so that it will be easy for you when you develop some set of files, and then if you have to push it into your repository. So can I have from team 1, squad 1? Okay.
Yeah, we got in and we got up to task 2. We had a little bit of trouble logging in, but we walked through cloning together and actually kind of took some time and looked at some of the steps beyond that, talking through, you know, adding and then committing and pushing and kind of what that looks like.
Wonderful, wonderful. I saw you giving the information ahead, though we are not able to log in. That's wonderful. Thank you, Lacey.
Actually, since squad 2, and since
Okay.
squad 2 did pretty much well, we were able to create issues, and we were also able to create pull requests. I think there was some issues in the beginning, but I think with your help, we were able to sort that out. So yeah, we're doing
Excellent,
well.
excellent. Excellent. So the next task would be like offline. We will create a folder and then try to create a pull request, push it to the branch which has been created, the test branch, and then any one of the admin will pull it to the main request. Maybe we will have that offline. You can also do a merge once there is an approval. You can send for approval. We will approve it and then push it to the main branch. Yeah. You can see the changes that could be visualized using the page here. Like you can go to the insights and then see what are the operations that you have performed on this particular repository. You can also create a discussion. Like I will also show you how to create a discussion over here. You can click on the discussion. You're free to discuss with whatever you want in the organization. So I will just create a new discussion over here. Okay. We will have this organization account live. We will be live. You can add collaborators. You can send a request so that we will check the verification of the collaborator and then we will approve it so that they'll be added and you can do a safe operation in this particular organization account and into this repository. Please share your questions or clarifications over here. Okay. Okay, I've just created a general discussion. You can move forward to do this. And one more information is like you can create a new repository. You will not be able to create a new repository. If you want, I will create a new repository. You can transfer it to the new repository and then see like how you will be able to merge from two different repositories to the main branch. I mean, to the to one more repository, which will head ahead. Like we will have a sub module from the repository. The parent repository would be there, and we will have 2 or 3 sub modules. We will have a collaboration of how we will be able to line up with the sub modules that has been created, and we will be able to merge it to the main branch of the parent repository. Okay, this is where you can find it. Like you can search the repository and find it over here, and then transfer the repository content of your files to a different repository as well. Say, for example, you're doing it in your own repository and you're contributing to a different repository or an open source project or something, you can do it by this way. Okay. So we are pretty much done with this session. Here is a README file for you. In the repository, you will have the set of commands listed out over here. And you will also see the snapshot of the results if you want to have it as a reference. And are there any questions that I have to answer currently? If there are no questions, we'll wind up the session for today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Welcome.
I have a tiny question. What got you interested in coding?
What kind of interest?
What got you interested in coding?
What got me interested? I am
Yeah.
basically not a coder. I'm a kind of product person. I completely manage products. Though I was doing coding and I was a developer for at least 5 to 6 years in my career.
Mhm. Oh, very
So
cool.
it was, the inspiration is like to create something new and to build a framework or build a design that is easy to navigate as well as safe for the forum to use. My expertise is to have a quality software to be delivered. So I was heading the quality development team, quality team, where I was handling 50 plus associates coding results, and I used to assess the quality of the code that has been developed, and then I'll deliver it to the customer. So this was my role, and this was a greatest inspiration for me to learn about different coding languages. Though I'm not a master in one language, I was able to pitch into many different languages, and I was able to see like how each language would differ from one another and how you can contribute with the power of the language that you learn.
Very cool. How many languages do you know?
Okay, I'm well versed in 2 languages, 2 to 3 languages. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you.
Welcome. I think I left coding before 5 to 6 years. Do we have any more questions? Please feel free to ping in into the discussion forum and log in your questions so that we will collaborate again for one more workshop or one more meeting, something like that. Yeah. So, nice meeting you all. Bye-bye. Take care.